I have had quite a few people reaching out wanting to join in and promoting the skilled trades because I think so many of us see the need, right?
Yeah,
I think that's probably the most shocking thing is it's great that it I've been successful and it's taken off, but it's kind of shocking that that hole was there.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I mean? And I
yeah,
think it just show it's anyone can do this,
yep,
and it's going to take all of us to turn this around to bring especially our manufacturing trades back to
yeah.
prohibition, right?
Hey, MMT followers, Christina Fuges back with another quick MMT chat. And my guest today is Darryl Gratrix, who's production manager for Molded Precision Components, whose machining division we profiled in MMT's December issue, and I'll provide the link in our show notes. All right, today we're going to talk about advocacy for the skills trades and for skills trades education and some strategies. So, hi, Darryl.
Hi, Christina. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So we got to start off by talking about where does this passion for promoting manufacturing careers come from?
Yeah, well, do you want the short story or this might take a while?
Yeah, I want the story. I want the story.
Um, I've been listening to a podcast lately by Ed Milet, and one of his favorite saying is, "You're most equipped to help the person that you used to be." So, of course, we go way back to high school. I had no clue what I wanted to do. Wasn't really, didn't fall into that mechanical aptitude kid who was for sure going to end up in the trades. Wasn't fixing cars or anything. My dad did some home repair renos that I would help out with, help my uncles on the farm, but
Okay.
definitely trades were not in my career path at that time. So I did want to go to university though, more for, the social aspects and the
Okay.
experience. So I went and did a 3-year BA in geography.
Oh,
And
interesting.
by my third year, I figured, well, I'm gonna have to do something else to get a job when I'm done this.
Well, I'm done having
So
fun.
yeah, when I'm done having fun. So I'd been using AutoCAD and some other software and thought, this is kind of cool. I wouldn't mind doing that. And then I kept hearing there's all these jobs in tool and die, of course, which I had no clue what that was or what was involved. So I went for a tour at a local factory, kind of through a family friend we knew. And it was the gentleman who gave me the tour was, the shop supervisor who was your kind of old, crusty old tool maker. And he made it very clear that if you're going to be in this trade, you had to be someone who, was working with your hands all the time and working on cars as a hobby.
Yep, that's what they
Um,
say.
and he said, he didn't directly say this isn't for you, but in not saying it, he was kind of laying it out
Mm,
there.
mm.
So fortunately, I didn't listen to him. And after that, did a 2-year college degree in tool and die
Okay.
to kind of get into the trade, and then got a co-op and spent 15 years at F&B Manufacturing, which is a big supplier for Honda, Toyota,
Yep.
GM
Yep.
in our area. And yeah, I worked on stamping dies for 15 years. Started out maintaining, fixing them, and then got into building them, doing engineering changes. And then about 12 years ago, came to MPC, switched over to the mold world. And you kind of know part of my story there. Started in the CNC shop, moved up to supervisor, tool room manager, now production manager.
We've seen it
And
all at this
so,
point.
yes, I know it makes me feel old. But as you get, probably especially by like my mid 40s, you get to that point where you're like, I really need to start concentrating on training the next generation. And that's kind of evolved the last year into, well, not only that, I need to be part of helping attract the next generation because so many, not just kids, but the general population, nobody knows what a mold maker, tool and die, or machinist does, right? So
No. I have to
that,
ask you this though, before you go
yep,
further. What was it about what that crusty old guy said to you? Like,
yeah,
why did you not listen to him? Because that I think that's critical, right? Why did you not?
yep. I don't know. I guess
You don't
maybe
know?
there's more stubbornness in me than I give myself credit for,
Mm,
or determination. Yeah, I knew, or maybe it was just being young and stupid. right?
Well, there had to be
Maybe.
something because you didn't, your story getting into it is not the typical story I hear. So you sound more
Yeah.
like me, like your interest lied nothing in really doing much with your hands or wanting to know what getting into manufacturing. But then once you got in there, like it exposed you to everything that you obviously love. But was there one thing that you saw during that tour that you were like, oh my gosh, this is what I could see myself doing?
Um, no, I
Okay.
don't.
Okay.
I can't, like, it wasn't, it was an older shop, manual equipment. I don't even know at that time if they had a CNC mill in there.
Okay.
So, um, there wasn't anything on the tour that sold me. Um, I was always very practical though, so it might have been more the fact that there were lots of jobs and
Mm.
I wanted to
Variety.
make sure whatever I was getting into was somewhere where there was demand and I wasn't getting into something where there weren't any jobs out there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a
So
problem.
no, no. So I don't know. It could have been that practical side of me that pushed me over the edge.
Interesting. So what was it about once you all your years of experience right now, when did it hit you and what was it about? Like what instance or what did you encounter that was like, oh
Yeah.
gosh, this is a problem and I need to be part of the solution?
Um, there's definitely like, we can, like most places probably, we can find CNC guys.
Yeah.
Um, there's a few tooling guys out there, but there's almost no one out there for mold makers. So that was part of it. And then 3 years ago, I got involved with the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program with our local school board, on the advisory committee for machinist, tool and die, and mold makers. So how that program works is in grade 12, your last year of high school, you can do a co-op and get signed up as an apprentice. And for only for our trades, because there's such a need, they have
Mm,
advanced OEM. So you
okay.
actually go in May and June, go do your first 8 week stint of your trade schooling. That's how apprenticeships work in Canada.
Okay.
There's 3 stints of 8 weeks where you go to school over 4 years and you put in 8,000 hours. So these kids can graduate high school already having finished the first portion of their trade schooling and have about 6 months of hours in. So it's giving them a great head start in
Yeah.
their trades career. So yeah, getting involved with that was definitely one of the, if you want to call it, TSN turning points
Yeah.
to kickstart. Yeah, and then time flies. I think it's about June 1st when I joined LinkedIn last year.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's coming up on a year that I've been on there. And then, as you know, it's just taken off like crazy since then.
That is where it just has taken off for you. And to hear that it's
Yeah.
not even been a year, almost a year,
Yeah.
and you were so active. So in general, how important is social media in this promotion? And can you share like a specific, I don't know, some specific successes that you've had using the platform? And is it mainly LinkedIn or are you across all platforms?
For me, it's still mainly LinkedIn.
Okay.
I'm on Instagram and Facebook. And yeah, a year ago at this time, I had been on zero social media platforms. Yeah. So still spend most of my time on LinkedIn. So the Instagram and Facebook aren't taking off as much. Um, but I chose to go down that route for Facebook to try and reach out to parents
Okay.
to get information to them, and then for Instagram to try and get information to kids. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't even looked at like TikTok or any of those other platforms yet, which is probably where you need to be
Yeah.
to reach kids more.
Yeah. Well, they do
Yeah.
say the quote that's going around is the people, our next generation that we're going to influence today are in eighth grade. So that
Yeah.
shows you that we're not to give up hope on people that are
Yeah.
in high school or junior high, but eighth grade, that's young. So yeah, you got to go
Yeah.
to whatever platforms they're using right now
Yeah.
and figure out ways to introduce a concept that will be completely foreign to most of them. Sad to say.
Yeah.
So give me a success. Give me a success on LinkedIn.
Well, there's so many. I keep telling everyone lately, my first 27 years of being in the business, in the last year, I've made probably 100 times as many contacts as I did the first 27 years. That's probably been the biggest success. Uh, Connecting with so many people in our industry and even all over the world.
And is it
Um,
specifically on, like, obviously, most of your posts are about this issue, is about the next generation. Is that what these
yep,
people are wanting to connect with you about?
yep, yeah. Either if it's not skilled trades promotion, it's mold making, machining. Yeah, no, it's great.
It does look like you're posting, is it more than once a day? And talk to me a little bit about your strategy for maintaining that consistency, because I believe in that also. You have to have some
Yeah,
sort, you can't be, there's an argument that if you do it less, people will notice it more because you're not doing it all the time. But I am on the side of you got to be consistent. So first of all, whatever the algorithm is and how wherever they
yeah,
change it, that you're popping up. But you got to get people used to who you are and what you're promoting. So talk me through how you came up with your strategy and what is it?
yeah. Well, I would say I'm still developing my strategy.
Okay.
I'm definitely not any kind of expert on, especially as you say, figuring out the algorithms. But yeah, definitely. And luckily, there's so many people on LinkedIn that are offering tips all the time. But yeah, you see them all the time, right? You've got to be posting a minimum of 3 or 4 times a week, ideally once a day. Um, so yeah, it changes every day, but I'm probably, if anything, I'm probably posting too much. I'm posting 2 or 3 times a day.
That's a lot. Okay, it is
Yeah,
that much. Okay.
yeah.
Do you plan this out or is this in the moment?
I kind of try and plan out like one post a day. And the other thing I liked about LinkedIn is I can schedule those, right?
Yeah.
Because it does take a bit of time. So I can
Yeah.
do it all on the weekend or in the evenings and, schedule it for the week. And then kind of as the week goes on, as things are happening, then I'm adding in those couple extra posts.
Yeah.
And it depends. Like yesterday was a busy day. Um, I had a couple meetings with people, went down to a skills event in Ontario, so there were lots of posts yesterday.
Yeah.
But then there's other weeks where there's not much going on, so yeah, it's more quiet.
So it sounds like it's mostly like your second job. You mentioned doing it when not doing
Yes.
work. So what is MPC like? How does your company fall into this initiative? Is
Yeah.
this Darryl's thing, or are there other people in the company that are also doing this?
Uh, for the most part, it's me right now.
Okay.
But funny enough, you mentioned that in 2 weeks, we've kind of got a meeting to set a company strategy for it. Yeah.
Nice, nice.
As
And you
you know,
say, yeah.
you met Dave at PT Expo.
Yep.
He's seen the results of the work that I put in and he's all on board. So yeah, now we're gonna actually make like a strategy for the company and
Nice.
then yeah, figure out what's gonna happen on that side going forward.
More power in numbers, right? Can you imagine if
Yeah,
more people or there's a more concerted effort in whether you have varied messages or it's on that same message, how much stronger um, the company will be to have a kind
yeah,
of just minus a solo guy trying to do this, but it's got to start somewhere, right? It's got to
yeah,
start somewhere.
exactly. And that was how it started. Yeah, basically there was nothing. So once things started kind of taking off last year, I figured, well, I might as well keep going with it because right now we're doing nothing. So what I'm
Yeah,
doing is better than that. And yeah,
exactly.
it's gone way beyond what I ever imagined it would have happened in less than a year. Yeah.
Yeah. If you commit to it, right? There
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
is.
And it does take time.
It does.
Yeah.
I can speak to that also. It takes time, preparation, because people also, they're not going to click and read things that aren't done well or aren't of interest. So it's not like you can just throw anything up there. Well,
Yeah.
you have to have a purpose to it. I think you've done a really good job of building your platform. Like I think now, like you're successful at when people think of you, I they can expect what that post is going to be about at this point. So they like you're the go-to guy
Yeah.
for this. Now, when
Yeah.
people
No,
reach
that's
out to you, when they reach out to you specifically for a post, can you give me an example of are they messaging you, private messaging you, and they're asking you, do they want to join an effort? Are you giving them a lead? Are you sharing a piece of information with them on this topic?
I would say
All
it's a
of
bit
it.
of both. Yeah. I have had quite a few people reaching out wanting to join in and promoting the skilled trades. because I think so many of us see the need, right?
Yeah.
I think that's probably the most shocking thing is it's great that it I've been successful and it's taken off, but it's kind of shocking that that hole was there.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
think it just show it's anyone can do this,
Yeah.
and it's going to take all of us to turn this around to bring especially our manufacturing trades back to
Yeah.
prominence, right? To
Yeah.
get the next generation, it's going to take all of us going out to high schools, trade
Yeah.
shows, doing
We
whatever
do
you can.
we do a great job of preaching to the choir. That's what we do with each
Yeah,
other. We all get together and we talk, and we're not the ones you need to convince. It is what you said earlier. It's the eighth graders, it's the parents, it's the guidance counselors. And I think in your LinkedIn, you have some guidance counseling background, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
you know that's an interesting topic. Like you know there's a problem with that role, right? They're not helping us promote manufacturing. Do you have
yeah.
any insight into that?
Well, that's another success story. It was a year ago, we had a tour at MPC of a dozen guidance counselors.
Oh,
And no, they in our area at least, it is skilled trades promotion is picking up momentum in all of Ontario, really,
nice.
which is great. We're finally getting the government behind us in that. Um, but anyways, we had this tour, and then I didn't really have any feedback, so I thought, well, I don't know, is it a waste of time or not?
Hmm.
And then, which isn't the way to think. And then at the
Yeah.
end of March this year, I went to an open house at a high school, set up a table for MPC. And, there was over 20 vendors, probably 250 students. And I was talking to the woman who organized it. And I'm like, you look familiar. And she's like, yeah, came through MPC last year. I was on the guidance counselor tour. She said, yeah, it was actually that tour that motivated me to organize this event.
God.
So I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
you
it.
just
It's like
never know,
mic
right?
drop.
Yeah.
That's what we need to hear more stories like that.
Yeah.
It is interesting if you take a year at a time and look, or maybe it is a year and say, okay, this year is the year of the guidance counselor. Everybody out there,
Yeah.
go after your guidance counselors. The next year, I don't know, go after the teachers. Next year, go after the moms, go after the dads, go after
Yeah.
the relatives, go after the siblings. Like I've been saying this for years. It is such a mainstream problem. Like it's a marketing problem. Let's transition a little bit into your
Yeah.
new role because now you're serving on the Canadian Association of Moldmakers CAM's board,
Yeah.
right? That's exciting. So
Yeah.
I would imagine with all your shop floor experience and this passion for workforce development, do you already have specific changes or initiatives that you're hoping to implement or ones they already have that you're going to support that are going to help bring in the next generation of mold makers into Canada?
Yeah. I'd like to have an answer for that, but the real answer is I'm going to be figuring all that out.
Okay.
That just like literally just came about at the beginning of last week.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I think maybe it's Monday we have our first meeting or the
Nice.
first meeting that I'm a part of. So yeah, then I'll get to dive into it more and kind of see what's going on. But
That'll
yeah, I'm
be
excited.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
should be. They should be excited to have you
Yeah.
too because they can capitalize. You can help them
Yes.
and they can help you at the same time. That's going to be a pretty powerful because that association's always been so engaged in the mold baking field in
Yeah.
all kinds of ways. So that I think that's a great fit for you. All right,
Yeah.
give me one call to action. Somebody watching this can, I don't know, can walk away with that they can do
Yeah.
today to help promote careers in manufacturing, specifically mold making.
Yes. I would say there's a couple. I'm going to give you more than one.
Go for it.
Definitely contact your local school board, get on the list for field trips, see if you can get on the list to go in and talk to career classes, um, anything you can promote, host tours for guidance counselors, teachers. And, those are things that any of us can do.
Yeah.
And I mean, I like to say I'm a natural born introvert.
Hmm.
But we change as we grow older. So
Yes.
if I can do this stuff, then anybody can do this stuff.
I agree. Well, how about social
Yeah.
media? What's something somebody can do today once they're done watching this?
Yeah. Even same thing. Start sharing if you don't want to shoot a video of you talking, shoot a video of something cool you're doing at work and start sharing that. Um, how-to videos. Apparently those are
Yeah,
huge for kids as well, right? On YouTube and TikTok.
yeah,
Again,
yeah.
I'm not on there, but I've been reading lots that, people are getting millions and millions of views on those how-to videos from kids. which is
Yeah,
encouraging.
that is encouraging.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody out there, I mean, look Darryl up primarily on LinkedIn, but comment and share, follow him, learn what he's doing, and repeat, right? Do exactly
Yes,
what you're doing and
exactly.
spread that
Yep.
word around to the people that
Or
you know in
if
your local
nothing,
community.
exactly. If nothing else, just repost.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Yep. And use AI. AI is a great tool to help
Yes.
get your creative juices flowing, especially when it comes to social media posts. So I
Yep.
encourage people to do that also. All right. Thank
Yeah.
you, Darryl. Thank you so much for
No
your
problem.
time. And for everybody watching, remember for everything mold making, visit moldmakingtechnology.com. Stay informed and stay inspired.